Hi guys, this is Kimmy Yanks and welcome to another PlayStation 4 gameplay video from F1 2020. Well, today I'll be covering about automatic and manual gear shifts. It is one of the assists that is most talked about in Formula 1 games, and today I will be covering only this assist in this part of the video because I've decided to break up each and every assist and give it one segment altogether. So in this one I'll be covering about the gear shifting, and then once this part is done I will be doing a separate video on ERS, which would be the next part of the assist video. Well, today I will be driving at Monza just to freshen things up a bit. It's a lot easier to drive there, and hopefully I can give you guys a better explanation as to how things work once you're on auto gears as well as once you shift to manual gears. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you very soon. Right, so welcome to the game screen, and just quickly showing you guys once again in the assist column. We've got three options on the gearbox settings. One is the automatic, the second is manual and suggested gear, and third is manual. Now if you were on a wheel like me, this would be your shifts. Right now I'm just going to keep it on automatic with all other settings. Wait, I don't need braking assist low, I need braking assist off. Traction control is off, so I have to again be very progressive on the throttle. And let's see how the gearbox assist is with automatic settings on. So here goes. So as you can see, coming up to Parabolica, a slight lock up on the right side, and then onto the start finish straight where Kimi got his fastest lap in history before Hamilton took it this year. So as you can see, I don't need to do anything with my gear shifts. I can just simply concentrate on my driving, my braking and my traction control exit whenever I'm playing on automatic. It makes it a very easy thing, and but then obviously once you add gearing, there's an added challenge. So as you can see, I'm not doing any shifting here. L1 R1, if you are on a controller, is not activated, and this is how basically your automatic gear shift works. Let me try and complete this lap. I'm about a second and a half up, and it's a clean lap, so oopsie, I lost time there. Well, this is the thing about Parabolica, you have to be very careful. You get your braking point wrong and you lose lap time there. So that was a pretty good lap, 1 minute 25. Anyways, so this is basically how it is on automatic gear shifting, and now I'll show you guys how it is on manual with suggested gear. Right, so as you can see, I've got my PlayStation 4 controller in right here, and it's very ergonomically designed. Normally if you're playing on the controller, L1 and R1 are the buttons that you would use for your upshifting and downshifting. So R1 would be your upshift and L1 would be your downshift, with R2 as your throttle and L1 as your brake. So L2 as your brake, apologies. So that is how it would be on the controller. But if you've got a wheel like me, the Logitech G29, this would be my upshift, with this being my downshift. Of course the pedal set is down there, and today I'm not giving you guys that angle since it's not really necessary. But so this would be a downshift, and this would be your this would be your upshift, and this would be a downshift. Very quickly going in game, let me show you guys what are the two options that you have once you switch over to manual. One is manual and suggested gear, and the other is manual. In this part I'll be covering the manual and suggested gear. Basically what it does is it shows you on your MFD display that this is the gear you're in, and then it suggests to you what gear you should be in once you hit your braking zone. So once you're on corner entry, that's the ideal gear that you need to be in, because every car is actually having an engine that's tuned to different gear ratios, and Of course, if you're in a higher gear or in a lower gear, then you should be, then you would have lower revs once you upshift, and you could even spin out. So then this is how basically it works. I've got my traction control off as usual, and I'm going to be in manual with suggested gear. So let's do a quick segment in which I can show you guys how it works. So as you can see, I'm in 8th gear right now, and then the system suggests that I should move up to 5th gear. I move down to 5th gear. Now once I'm back onto the start finish straight, upshifting back up to 8th. Normally there is no suggestion for an upshift unless and until it's absolutely necessary, but now you can see once again, oopsie, I've actually messed up that corner. Let me go very, very carefully there. Don't want to spin out because of traction control being off. Right, let me give you guys another way of how it is. Now once again I'm in 8th gear, coming up to a slow speed corner. Now the problem with this wheel is, with this Logitech G29 specifically, and I've seen this happen more often than not, it actually gives you many times when you're upshifting or downshifting, you kind of tend to miss a shift. Now you can see I pressed the upshift, the downshift again, but I did not see it on my dash. So this is something that I think they need to really look at. So you have to be really, really heavy with your downshifts, to make it work. Otherwise, just a normal click doesn't do the job. So as you can see, once again I'm on 8th gear, and now all we have to do is downshift to 5th. I'm actually giving it a lot of pressure to make it downshift on time. Let me try and give you guys another teaser of how you're supposed to do it. And then you're coming up to your braking point. This was much better, but wasn't the ideal way. So this is basically how it works, wherein you downshift based on the suggestion that comes up on your MFD display. Of course, it's not the ideal thing, but once you're learning about any track, it makes it a lot easier for you to understand, where your braking point is and how you have to sync your downshifts with your braking point. So now I'm going to be talking about manual gear in the next part of the video, in which I will also be covering about short shifting, because that's a very important aspect when it comes to having your traction control off. So I'll see you guys very quickly. Talking about the assists again, manual assist for gearing. We go into the manual without any suggested gear. So now I'm totally on my own. There is absolutely no suggestion that's going to pop up on my MFD display, and it's all on me as to how I go about braking and shifting in corners. So let's see how proficient I am. I'm still learning, just like many of us are always in life. So here goes. So as you guys can see on my MFD display, there was no suggestion whatsoever. Coming up to a 3rd gear corner now. So this is how manual gear is. Now what I wanted to talk about in the manual gear shifts itself was that Formula 1 engines are designed, to operate at a very good level of RPMs, and sorry for that sound in between. Anyways, so sometimes it's better to be in a lower gear at a higher rev compared to being in a higher gear at lower rev. So let's say if I'm in a slow speed corner, it's better that you would be in a high 3rd gear than a low 4th gear sometimes. So this is something that you need to learn on your own once you are practicing over time at just one circuit, familiarizing yourself with the track layout and how things differ once you switch to a certain setting. So in this part of the video I'm going to be talking about pointers that you need to look at when you need to upshift. If you're not well versed, you've got an MFD display on the bottom right corner, and there are a line of lights that pop up once you're on full throttle in any gear, and those lights go from red to green to purple. The moment they hit purple, that's your marker for upshifting. Well, in the game itself, if you go into preferences, there is also another way of doing that in the audio settings. All you need to do is go into the audio settings, and then you can actually have your upshift tone on if you need some assistance and you're new to manual gear shifting. So this makes it a lot easier. Let me see if I can show you guys how the upshift tone operates. Restarting the lap here. So now I'm onto the back straight in 8th gear, shifting down to 5th. Now as I go onto the throttle, there is a very slight, it's like a very irritating ting kind of a noise that I'm hearing in my ear. It is very faint, but I think that's a good enough marker, to tell you that, okay boy, you need to shift. Oopsie, I've actually made a mess of that corner again. So anyways. So it comes in very, very quickly. I think the moment the red light is transitioning into the purple, that is when that buzz is what you hear in my eyes, is the buzz that I'm hearing in my ear right now. Now it's a good pointer to have, it's a good marker to have if you're upshifting with the upshift tone. I am on 8th gear now, everything is in the green, downshifting to 5th gear, and then the moment I press my throttle, you can see the purple lights coming on. So the moment I hit purple, that's when I'm supposed to upshift. Obviously if I leave the car in a gear that I'm not supposed to leave it in, there will be a lot of over revving. It's going to put a strain on my engine, and it's going to mess up how my car performs. So this is what is upshifting now. So as you can see, if I'm upshifting at the right time, I'm actually gaining time on the straights and not losing. But if I were to not get my braking points right, or if I were to not get my shiftings, my shifts right, it would actually cause me a lot of pain. So talking about short shifting, well, I had made a mention about this in my assist video as well on traction control. If you guys have not seen it, it is part 2 of the assist video. You can find it on the top left hand corner. And basically I had spoken about short shifting. So what is short shifting? Well, if you've got traction control off and you're still getting to grips with throttle input, because you have to be very progressive when it comes to corner exit with your throttle, and if you give too much of throttle, it will cause the rear of your car to spin out. We all know that turbo engines made a return in 2014. So to counter the extra torque that were going through the rear wheels, the 8th gear was added for improved gear ratios. Of course, if you're on tracks like Monaco, which are street circuits, you don't really need the 8th gear, and all cars are tuned with 7 gears as the ratio for the gear ratio. But on a power circuit like Monza, you need your 8 gears because you need better straight line speed. So how do you counter, or how do you get over the lack of traction control? Is basically you short shift. Now what is short shift? Well, we all know that the lower gears are torquier gears, so you upshift sooner than you should when you're on corner exit, and that helps your car to arrest that slide that might be caused by an excessive throttle input or the extra torque that might be flowing through your rear wheels. So let me show you guys very quickly how that works. Coming up to Parabolica now in 8th gear, braking into 5th. Now onto the start finish straight with your DRS open. And now we are coming up to one of these low speed corners. So now if I give too much of throttle, this is what happens, because there is traction control off, because traction control is off. So how do I arrest this slide that is happening through the rear wheels? Well, once again braking hard. Oops, I actually, let me just try and yeah, this is much better. So now what I'll do is I'll actually upshift to 4th. So that was sooner than I should, because the car had not hit the RPM limit at which I'm supposed to upshift. So this is basically short shift for you. Now let me show you guys here as well. So I'm on 3rd gear, and then very quickly I upshift to 5th gear, and this is basically how I can actually give better throttle input and still get away with it. There again, I actually upshifted very quickly from 4th to 6th. So this is how short shifting works. You upshift from a lower gear into a higher gear sooner than you should, sooner than the time your engine hits that rev limit of upshifting, so that you can arrest the rear wheel spin that happens. I would still prefer that. I would still prefer having, you know, gradual throttle input on corner exit rather than doing this tactic. But then these are things that you can learn very quickly. So this brings me to the end of the gear shifts video, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Apologies for mistakes if made, if any. I mean, there were a few mistakes, not if any, but apologies for mistakes. And please like, share, comment, subscribe. Next in the assist list, well, we have what did I tell you guys about? What was next? Oh, ERS. Yeah, the ERS is also something that's pretty interesting to see, and hopefully I'll be able to do justice to that assist as well. This is Kimmy Yanks signing off. Take care, guys. Enjoy your racing, and God bless.